An arrest out of Shelby over the weekend is making national headlines.
Yeah, video of a now former police officer hitting a suspect several times has led officials to file new criminal charges for the officer and drop the charges for the suspect.
Queen City News anchor Savannah Rudicel's live in Shelby with the latest in this case. Savannah, good morning.
That's right. The family of Cherie Moore has now retained national civil rights attorney Ben Crump. He says in a statement so far that his client was having a mental health crisis. And he says the footage from that arrest was both, quote, disturbing and raises serious questions. Now, the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations is looking into the incident and how the Monroe Police Department responded. Know that the former officer, Carson Hyde, can be seen in a Ring doorbell video hitting Moore repeatedly while on the ground during an arrest on Friday. He was fired Saturday and facing now criminal charges for misdemeanor assault and inflicting serious injury. Court records describe Moore's injuries as a possible broken nose, black eyes, and a busted lip. Officials initially charged Moore with breaking and entering, plus resisting arrest and assaulting a government employee. However, those charges were dropped Monday. Then Monday night, several residents brought their concerns to the Shelby City Council, as well as the Shelby mayor, about the video. The community advocates hope that more transparency comes from police moving forward.
We need to ensure the community that our police officers in this area are getting the proper training, that they have the proper instruments on them so that if they do have some misconduct, it's recorded.
We further ask for stronger policies to be put in place so officers that have a history of excessive forces, aggressive behavior are not allowed to continue to police our community.
Shelby police didn't immediately respond to our request for comment yesterday about the new charges for the former officer, but the attorney Ben Crump plans to speak about the situation, provide more details today. He says he plans to speak around at 10:30. Members of the media, of course, will bring you the latest online at qcnews.com and on air at Queen City News at noon. Reporting live in Shelby, Savannah Rudisell, Queen City News.
All right, Savannah, thank you for that update. We're going to bring in our chief legal analyst now, Kali Rhodes, to talk about this. This happened Friday. A very quick response now, getting a prominent attorney involved, and it's all thanks to this doorbell camera video. If this hadn't existed, we probably wouldn't have known about this.
Not at all. She'd still be charged. It would have been a he said versus she said. Yeah, there may have been body cam footage. They would have had to request that. That fight to even get access to that would have been a long, stretched out fight as well. And her underlining criminal charges probably still would have been pending. So she would have been fighting that while also trying to get the video out. So a number of things complicate this, but the video camera from the doorbell actually clear up a number of things on her side and open the door for her now having access to her charges being dismissed and a civil rights attorney coming to fight on her behalf. So yes, I think technology, timing a lot would have been different if this was 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Khalif, use of excessive force is here on the line. The police chief even said this was disturbing, it was inappropriate. The officer was later fired. How does that help? The comments not only from the chief, but the video, how does that help build this civil rights case?
I mean, it helps it tremendously. I mean, it obviously the video, you play that. I mean, any attorney that has, you know, if you're first year or been doing this for 20 years, you're playing that video. If this case goes to trial and you're showing the officer strike her multiple times, but then you're using the words from the officers there. You're using part of the video that I thought was even more telling was his fellow officers attempting to stop him from hitting him. At one point, the officer walks in and kind of pushes him like, okay, enough is enough. I mean, there's no audio, but you could assume there was a conversation that, okay, she's down at some point, stop hitting her. That is what I would want to have played as well if I go to trial. So that video would be damaging. His officers or the other folks' statements about him would be damaging as well, because this isn't about force. We recognize that force was used and it was excessive force. The question is, was it unreasonable? And that's going to be the standard. You will get experts that will come in and testify that, listen, the standard of care for an officer that's in that situation, the force that he was using was appropriate. You have other officers come in and testify that it wasn't appropriate, but that video would help to say, well, hey, was this appropriate or not? And you have to have a jury that will be able to either listen to the story that they're attempting to tell or not by that painting the picture that they're trying to paint.
Khalif, we know that there's also criminal charges that the former officer is now facing. You've talked about it before, that they're given some sort of protection when you're acting in an official capacity there. How do you try a case like that? Should it be upgraded, as some of the people wanted to a felony charge? How do you even begin breaking that down when somebody was acting or trying to act in their official capacity?
Two parts on that answer. So I'll deal with the official capacity. That's qualified immunity that you talked about. That's not law. That's court dicta, where the court has over years has created this carve out, this set aside for the higher burden to even charge an officer because they're in their official capacity. So they're qualified to have this shield of protection around them. And so because we got to this point, we're in rare territory already, having a charge, not a conviction, but just a charge.
Right.
In terms of the likelihood of success at trial, or some type of conviction or the elevation to a felony, in North Carolina, the statute's pretty clear. If you assault a person and you leave permanent, protracted damage, if it's a serious permanent disfigurement, so yeah, it's a felony assault inflicting serious bodily injury right now. But if it's assault inflicting serious bodily injury, and there is a permanent damage like broken eye socket, fracture of the face, jawbone, orbital socket, anything like that, this could be elevated to a felony. And so, yeah, he's charged with misdemeanors now, but could easily be a felony as the investigation goes on. Those bruising, as they continue to die down, as she continues to get medical treatment, if it becomes more permanent, yeah, you can get an elevated charge.
All right. Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes weighing in on that for us. Thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.